celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Bit Squad, we are going to be giving away $1,000 in Bitcoin for the months of March and April, along with 2 Nano Ledger S's. An extra $100 prize will be available for those who join the Telegram group. Like and comment on every video in March and April for the maximum number of entries. You must be a subscriber to win. Hey Bit Squad, welcome back to the channel. Today we got some really interesting news stories for you, including we're going to be looking at, has the bear market actually been good for crypto? We're going to be talking about Mozilla and are they getting outdated? We're also going to be talking about Vitalik Buterin promoting Bitcoin SV. Is it true? Just a spoiler alert, I don't think it's true, but we are going to look at that. And then we're also going to be looking at the China FUD, right? It's been a long time since we had China FUD. We're going to try to make this video pretty quick, so let's go ahead and jump into the markets. Market watch. Okay, guys, the market's coming in at almost 180 billion. Bitcoin dominance staying steady at 51.1%. Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin's price, also staying steady above 5,200. Really in the top 10, the only thing that has gotten any kind of bounce today is Binance coin. So let's look at the biggest winners of the day. We got ABBC coin, True Chain, Wakey Chain, Theta, and Nano continuing to pump. Biggest losers of the day, we have KuCoin shares, VestChain, Verge, Bytem, and Metaverse. We've got Tron really kind of holding steady above 3 cents, which is very interesting. Only a slight pullback, and then our daily IOST check, if you will. IOST coming in at number 43. It's also not really had that much of a pullback, staying in front of 1.5 cents. So good news if you're invested in those projects. Number 5. Like I said, I'm going to try to be brief with the stories today, which is going to be kind of difficult because there's a lot of comments that I want to make. But Mozilla is set to fight crypto jacking efforts. So basically, Mozilla has announced that they are going to be fighting any kind of extension or toolbar that can be installed on the browser to basically mine from other people's computers. Now, keep in mind, these are microtransactions. It really is not that big of a deal. I think it's Pirate Bay, I'm not 100% sure, but it is a torrent site, and they let you know in their policies that they will be able to mine on your computer. Basically, it's micro mining. It's not very much, but of course, if you have millions of computers on a network, it can kind of add up and things like that. But I think Mozilla is trying to go a little too hard at crypto right now. I think that it's already on the way out. Most people I know have moved over to Chrome or to the Brave browser, and I'm kind of afraid that Mozilla is going to get left in the dust. And I think them fighting against things like this is just kind of evidence of that. Number 4. Okay, so we have this story. Ethereum founder rebukes accusations of him legitimizing Bitcoin SV. Basically, he was at a panel at a conference recently, and on that same panel were some people from Bitcoin SV, and people were going to say that that legitimizes Bitcoin SV. And this is what I would like to say. I'm sick of this. Honestly, I am sick of people saying because you have this person on your podcast, or you have this person on your panel, or you have this person speak at your conference, that all of a sudden you are invalid, that you are a shiller. The truth is, a lot of us in this space are trying to approach this from a journalistic or a neutral site. We want to be neutral and objective. So what is the damage in letting someone speak about their project if it's garbage, right? Yes, there will be some people that invest in it. We saw that. People invest in crazy stuff. We know that. But I think it's ridiculous to say that Vitalik Buterin was shilling Bitcoin SV is what people were saying just because he was at a conference speaking on a panel that also had someone from Bitcoin SV speaking. It's absolutely asinine. I think that viewers of not only my channel, but all across the interwebs, if you will, and when it comes to crypto, I think you guys need to ease off. You need to pay attention to the manner in which someone is speaking about a project or to a person. If someone has, let's say, someone controversial in the space on their show, watch the questions that they ask. Yes, if they're tossing softball questions and they're not asking hard questions, then yes, maybe in some roundabout way, you could say they were easy on that person, that they weren't being fair, whatever the case may be. But if you've watched any of my interviews that I've had with any controversial people at all, I ask them tough questions. And, I don't think this is fair to accuse Vitalik Buterin of this. Now, Vitalik Buterin came out and he said, look, Craig Wright has a platform. These people have a platform to speak about their project, and it's our platform to be able to laugh at them because we think it's ridiculous. And I totally agree with that. I don't know what it is now about cryptocurrency where the viewers, for some reason, and you may or may not be included in this, it's moving towards a centralized way of thought where this person is off limits or this project is off limits. Decentralization is about freedom and lack of censorship. And I think this is a very dangerous line. We need to be careful where we're going with this. Number 3. Super interesting story here, guys. If you don't know PewDiePie, he is really funny. I was first introduced to him, I believe, on a South Park episode many years ago. But he started out as a gamer. He's got the biggest channel on YouTube. It's been that way for, I think, about 8 years. When he came on the scene, he crushed everyone. Recently, there is a channel called T-Series that is really neck and neck with him. They're both at about 91 million subscribers. They're on the race to the 100 million, whatever the case may be. But he has now partnered with DLive, blockchain-based live streaming. If you guys don't know who PewDiePie is, I guarantee your kids do. And honestly, I'm surprised there aren't people that know who he is at this point. He's really kind of morphed his channel. Now he does a lot of like commentary, reaction videos, makes fun of TikTok videos, which I enjoy doing and things like that. So, he is someone who is kind of larger than life. And when you watch his channel, you understand why people like him. He's funny. He's very personable. He seems nice. He's really out there and crazy. He's got some crazy voices he does and things like that. So, this news right here is very, very interesting because he will definitely have an audience, a built-in audience that he is now going to move to DLive that are probably going to get exposed to cryptocurrency. So this is definitely something that we need to keep watching and see kind of how it develops. Number 2, load the FUD. So if you weren't around for the bull run in 2017, then maybe you don't know the significance of China FUD. It seems as if every time the bull market would really get pumping, someone would try to dump some terrible news from China onto the markets, and we might see a pullback or a retracement. But Bitcoin was so strong, crypto was so strong at that time on the market that it just kept going. But there were so many attempts. It was almost like China FUD was kind of like the CNBC indicator. If all of a sudden we got China FUD, you had to watch out because we might get a little retracement, but we were probably going to bull right through it. So, now we've got our first case of China FUD in this possible emerging bull market. That's what I'll call it. I'm not sure where we're at. We'll look at in just a second, and maybe that's not the case, but it seems to be maybe an emerging bull market, and here we've got the China FUD. So basically China has said they are going to ban all mining. And people heard this and they were freaking out yesterday, like, oh my gosh, what's this going to do? Blah, 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 blah. And I specifically said, I actually think this is going to be a good thing. And now here we are, we have this news. It could send prices soaring. Now why? Well, basically, here are the reasons. The loss of cheap Chinese electricity would raise the mining cost, which is net positive on price. It's one of those things that seems backwards, right? It seems like, if you lose cheaper electricity, it would have a negative effect on the cost, but it has a positive effect. Kind of like the halving. Like, it seems counterintuitive that we're going to half the rewards miners get, and it makes the price go up. But yet, this is one of those things. But more importantly, it's going to kill the FUD that Bitcoin mining is centralized because there are mining farms in China. 70% of the world's mining comes from China. So you could say in a roundabout way it's centralized. And if you really dig down in those numbers, it's even a little more alarming than, maybe at first glance. We definitely have, some 2 different mining pools that almost make up 40, I think the last number I saw was 41% of all Bitcoin mining is between those 2 pools by antpools, which is, basically, both of them are the same company. I believe Bitmain is behind those. But, this could serve to kind of let some other areas of the world step in and get the gains from this mining, of course, if mining is profitable. But, definitely an interesting story here. I think this is ultimately going to be a good thing if it follows through, but China's also famous for making these bans and then not following through. So we'll just have to see kind of how all this shakes down. The number one crypto story of the day. Okay, so this is a very interesting story to me. And it's interesting for a lot of reasons. There's a surface level reason here that definitely, seems to be pretty good. Then we dig a little bit deeper into the story, and I'm going to put some stuff into context for you that I think is going to be really surprising to you, or not surprising, but I think it's going to confirm a theory that I have that is incredible for Bitcoin. Maybe not so great in the short term, but incredible for Bitcoin. So the story here, Charlie Lee, we all know Charlie Lee, CEO of Litecoin, a former Coinbase employee, been in the space for a long time, sold the top, that's pivotal. The lack of rapid price increases is positive for the development of projects. And I've been trying to tell people this for a long time. There is no connection between adoption and development and price. There is not. If we were to go back into 2017, name all the viable crypto projects that were happening then. Tell me the ones that had products. You can name some store of value coins. You could say Ethereum had a platform that people were running on, and that's it. Almost everything was ERC20s, and now we have some that have taken off the training wheels and have moved, towards independence, towards having products such as the Brave browser. Binance is a product in a way. If you look at the exchange, it barely existed in 2017. So, it's very interesting. He says, recently we have been actively working to add more options to the Litecoin protocol. In particular, we are talking about the problem of interchangeability. The possibility of introducing Mimblewimble, very interesting, technology expansion units is also being examined, which will help to ensure the confidentiality of the transaction, which basically is saying they're looking to implement the Mimblewimble protocol in order to add privacy feature to their to Litecoin. Now, it's very interesting because, he says he believes that, once again, the market has had a positive effect. There's no correlation between the price right now and the development. I believe one day it will happen. We'll call it the great flippening of price and development. But right now, that's not the case. So that's very interesting. Okay, cool. We'll take that. We'll take that, Troy. We'll listen. This is what I actually want to focus on because this is very interesting stuff. The creator of Litecoin also noted that this time the market did not so much affect the mood of the community. During 2015 to 2016, people did not hope for any restoration. They thought it was kind of dead. It seems to me that we have not yet reached the critical level which was achieved last time, and I hope that we will not reach it. For the record, I do not believe we will reach that level, and the reason being is because in 2014, when Mt. Gox collapsed, it was a mood of, will Bitcoin survive? And now we know it's going to survive. There's really nothing that could happen to this market. We could go down to $1,000 tomorrow, and the community that is still in crypto, the ones that didn't come in the last 2 weeks, will still believe in it. So I don't think we're going to get that level, but that's not the part I want to focus on. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if there will be another wave of sales, after which it will take much longer to recover. This may last for one more year and maybe more. It is difficult to predict such things. So let's go back to 2017 in December when Charlie Lee basically called the top. He said, I know everyone's excited Litecoin's $300, but the price could go all the way down to $20. And if you can't stomach that, then you shouldn't be in crypto. People killed him for it. Go look at the tweet and look at all of the people on that tweet that are no longer in crypto or have not touched your account since last year or some even, over a year ago. And I want to link this to something I've said before. We also know that Charlie Lee sold the exact top. He sold all of his Litecoin. No, that's not true, actually. He sold the majority of his Litecoin. The reason why, he said, because he believes that he wants to be disassociated from being able to pump the price. If he's the CEO and he makes statements and the price will go up or down, he doesn't want that responsibility. He wants to kind of move out of the spotlight. If you've ever met him, he's not really a spotlight kind of guy, so it makes sense. But I don't know if there was another reason. I think he kind of knew the top and at least on some level wanted to sell it while he was going to get the maximum number of returns. His brother Bobby Lee, if we were to pull up Bobby Lee here, this is not the Mad TV character, by the way. This is Bobby Lee. We'll get a nice picture of this guy. There he is. Hey, Bobby. How are you doing? I hope I'm looking the right way. If I'm not, how are you doing? I know one of those was correct. But, so this is Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is Charlie Lee's brother. Now, he believes in a $333,000 Bitcoin. He also believes ultimately in $1 million Bitcoin that would level off the price of per Satoshi to about 1 penny. I believe all of that. His beliefs line up with my beliefs for the future of crypto. Now, here is what he says, though. Bobby Lee says that we will get a $333,000 Bitcoin in 2021. He believes the market is really going to take off in 2020. Now, I've said before, I believe that Bobby Lee influenced Charlie Lee's decision. He's a Bitcoin analyst. He, I believe, is on the board of the Bitcoin Foundation, or he's associated with the Bitcoin Foundation in official capacity in one way or the other. I've said for a long time, I believe that Bobby Lee's analytics, his analysis of the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency affected Charlie Lee's decision to sell his Litecoin at the exact top. I think there was probably some sort of conversation they had. So now we all would say, for Charlie Lee to sell when he did, he seemed like the very, very, very smartest person in cryptocurrency at that time. He had to. He sold the exact top. Nobody else did, pretty much. There were some people here or there. So now I've said I believe that Bobby Lee's $333,000 prediction, it holds more weight with me. I believe there is a chance for that to happen. Now, if we go back here and we look, remembering that Bobby Lee said that he believes that it will be in 2021 that we reach that number, and now you look. It said, now this was written just a couple of days ago, so we've already had this massive run where people are saying, most people now are agreeing that December 15th was the bottom and we're moving up. How fast, we don't know. But right now, is Charlie Lee trying to tell us something through this statement? At the same time, I would not be surprised if there was another wave of sales. Now, I would also like to add that Bobby Lee believes 2,500 should have been the bottom. Now, it got to 31, so it was close. So I don't know if he believes there will be another bottom. But Charlie Lee says there will be another wave of sales, after which it will take much longer to recover. This may last for one more year and maybe more. So we're in the early part, semi-early part, the first third of 2019. Bobby Lee has predicted a $333,000 Bitcoin that will start its ascent in the middle or near the end of 2020. And now we have Charlie Lee saying pretty much that that's definitely a possibility. And I have to wonder whether or not Charlie Lee's statement here, since it lines up so much with what Bobby Lee is saying, if that is an indication that that's how Charlie Lee knew to sell the top. That's how he knew from his brother, this analyst, who is not a permabull. He's not like Tom Lee, another Bitcoin analyst, who's always like, Bitcoin's going to $100,000 tomorrow. That's kind of, the gist of what he says sometimes. In 2018, last year, at the end of the year, he was still saying $15,000 by the end of the year with 3 weeks to go, which was asinine. Nobody believed that. So I believe that this is definitely a possibility for a $333,000 Bitcoin. I believe that this is an indicator that Charlie Lee and Bobby Lee both share information. Both of their views on this market seem to line up exactly. And it's, on one hand, it's discouraging because it feels like we're starting to run, and it would be so nice to get back over 10,000. We'll start with 6,000. But if we have an extended bear market that's going to last another year, it's going to be hard on everybody. So really hoping that that does not happen. But if at the end of the day, if we end up with a $330,000 Bitcoin, I don't think any of us are going to complain, right? As long as you don't sell out. Hopefully you haven't put yourself in a position where you have to withdraw your money at some point and you can really just hold what you have, or hodl as we like to say, until we can see the massive run up and the massive gains. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try to put a little different perspective on this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going out of town at the end of this week, but I do still have another video for you tomorrow. I believe tomorrow I'm going to be live streaming some poker for our Fresh 5 live stream. We'll talk news too, but going to be doing some blockchain poker. So be on the lookout for that. BitBoy out.